Hey guys, welcome back. This is Kim with Creative Crafticality, and today I will be flipping through a new journal that I just made for fall. We'll call this my Hello Fall journal. It was made using a purple Reader's Digest book that I found thrifting, and this really pretty paper pad from Michaels. It's one of their new fall ones called Berry Tapestry Fall, and it has a lot of purples and oranges and everything. Really beautiful paper pad. So that is what I made this with. I have it tied up with this special yarn. It's kind of an ombre purple, and I have it doubled up. So the yarn actually comes like this, but I doubled it up to make it a little bit more textured or chunkier, I guess. I have a wood die cut that says Hello Fall here. I added, this is a cut apart from the collection that I sewed onto some more of the papers in the collection there. And then I have this like a crochet trim here, and then some orange fabric on the spine with more trim, and then this vintage purple, and to me looks like little pumpkins. I'm not sure. They could be flowers of some sort, but that's on the back. And then I added this fun gingham ribbon along the front and the back. And then it has this beautiful tassel with lots of fun trims and yarns and things. It is 2 signatures, and then I have 3 altered paper clips, and then this really fun wooden pumpkin there. So let's go ahead and get into what it looks like. This is not attached, so you can pull that off. Open it up here. On this side I made a pocket with the fabric. This is an altered library card, and I stamped, added ribbon. Over here's a belly band, and then a bingo card that I added a die cut to. This was a die cut from another fall collection. I sewed a ruffle of the fabric on the side there. Here is another piece of the scrapbook paper, and then I have this purple paper that is kind of shiny. I stamped a leaf and added the fabric there. Now this was a Reader's Digest book, so there weren't any like illustrations really that went with the theme. So I used other vintage and newer Thanksgiving fall type pages in this book, so this is one of them. I have some purple lined paper with some washi tape, and then I have some fall stamps that I use throughout the pumpkin. I have leaves and things like that, and then I also use some stickers. Here is a music sheet, another, and those are thank you songs, thank you hymns, I guess. I had some leaf stickers as well, and there I sewed some crocheted lace. This was a piece from the collection. I think this was from an Ideals, a vintage fall Ideals book. Included a purple lunch sack in there. Here are some vintage pieces, a playing card and a Monopoly card. And then I have some orange dyed paper, and then this vintage lace piece on the side there. Some more little vintage goodies there. Over here I have a cookbook page. It has like pie recipes, purple little doily, and then I sewed some purple rickrack on this page. Have this cute little die cut that says fall y'all, happy fall y'all. Then here I just stamped on a kitchen check, and then this was a little tag. It says, autumn is the bite of the harvest apple. Okay. That was something that I had in my scrapbooking stash. They were already made. I did make this paper just with some, oh, what did I use on that? I think it was just some food coloring that I dyed it with. Some more music paper. This is a napkin, and it has a pumpkin sheet cake recipe on the inside. Over here I have a leaf die cut. It is using burlap. So I just made that a little belly band and then added a cut apart here and some orange money. Over here I have this tag. It's a layered tag, and I stamped it with a pumpkin. And then this is part of a paint chip card. Used a little strip from the paper collection there. And then on this side I have a sticker, and then I have another vintage leaf playing card and some orange money. Here's a really pretty dyed paper. This was actually done by Jacqueline over at Lovely's Crafting Lodge. I'll try and link her YouTube or Etsy shop down below. She does a lot of live sales and sells a lot of dyed papers and ephemera and things like that. Here is another, oh, this is the other side of the Ideals book. On this page I stamped, it's like a pumpkin spice latte or frappuccino, and it says Jesus and pumpkin spice on it. Here is another songbook page for my kids' music book, God is Great and God is Good. Added a die cut there. Up here is the little pumpkin clip, just like a clothespin with a wood pumpkin. In this pocket is a vintage bingo card. Over here I put in 2 of the cut aparts from the collection, and then over here I had this little note paper. It says Spice Up Your Life with the pumpkins down below. And, oops, okay. Here is, oh, there we go. I have a vintage ticket. It's like a game ticket or something like that. And then another vintage playing card, but this is like a Hilton Honors. It has purple and orange. I just thought it was appropriate. And it has that. It's like travel theme or something. But the colors went. And then here's a vintage fall book from a kid's book. And then some dyed paper. This is paper from Jacqueline as well. Here is a ledger page, and that folds out. And then another book page from that cookbook with pies. Here is a little tuck. This was with a purple envelope. I actually sewed it incorrectly. Usually I sew it underneath with the flap, and I accidentally sewed it on top, so I just glued it down here, so that just makes a little pocket there. And then the flap is over on this side, so that now flips out instead of the actual big envelope, which was disappointing, but I didn't want to ruin this paper by taking it out. and risk like ripping it or whatever. And then there's another book page. Here's an envelope, and I did a really cool leaf stitch with my sewing machine. My sewing machine has several stitches on it, and that one was really pretty easy, and I think it looks really cool. And I have this little cut apart in there. Here is a vintage recipe page on turkey divan. Added a die cut or a cut apart there. Here's a couple vintage playing cards up there. And then some orange tickets and money. Here is, I think this is from, yeah, this is from another fall ideals book. So it has a poem about autumn there, and then it has this on the other side, so that's really pretty. And then I have a pumpkin die cut in the center there. Some more purple lined paper, and then this is some really pretty vintage trim that I had in my stash. And then here is another recipe page. It has pecan pie and pineapple coconut pie. Here's the other side of that envelope. The book page. Other side of the recipe page. And I added some really pretty lace on this. It has like greens and oranges and purples. And then here's the other side of that ledger book page. Almost done here. So there's another, I love this book, the fall book. It just has such vibrant colors in the illustrations. And then the back signature here. I included this little fox paper clip. He's just hanging out on the top, but that'll come off and it looks like that. I didn't have anything to stick there, but he's just hanging out on the page, on the pocket. And then here is a note card that I stamped and another cut apart. And then over here is a belly band, and I included this frame. I just thought it went well. It had the teal and the orange, so it's something you can use on one of the pages and just put a picture or whatever there. And then the last pocket that's in the back cover has a stamped paint chip card and this little card that's a who, what, where, when, and then I just stamped it with a leaf. So that is it, guys. There's the back. So if you're interested in this, I will have the link down below in my Etsy shop. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Otherwise, hopefully it gives you inspiration to make one of your own. As I said, this was a vintage Reader's Digest book. I had never seen a purple one before. It was different because it didn't have like the pattern on the front. It was just all purple. But I thought it went beautifully with that paper collection that I found. So yeah. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you again next time. This is Kim with Creative Crafticality. Bye. God bless.